In a distant galaxy far from Earth lived a well-known alien mercenary named Drakthar. He was strong, smart, and feared by many. Drakthar had worked for many powerful clients, but he had never met a challenge like the one ahead. He received a message about a big job to attack Earth and steal its advanced technology. The reward was enormous, and Drakthar's eyes glinted with greed. He thought humans were weak and easily frightened. Drakthar gathered his team of skilled fighters, all eager for glory and riches. There were 5 in total, sleek Xylarians, fierce Voraxians, and a few tough Griths. They were confident in their abilities. "This will be easy," Drakthar told them, his voice booming. "We will take what we want and leave Earth trembling in fear." The team traveled to Earth aboard their sleek starship. As they neared the planet, they marveled at its blue oceans and green lands. Drakthar pointed to a small, isolated outpost on the surface. "That will be our target. It looks weak and unprotected. We'll strike there first." The team landed quietly at night, their ship hidden in the shadows of tall trees. The outpost was a small base, home to only a few soldiers. Drakthar's heart raced with excitement. He knew they could take it without much trouble. They moved swiftly through the trees, keeping quiet to avoid alerting the humans. As they approached the outpost, Drakthar signaled for his team to spread out. They hid behind crates and equipment, watching the few guards patrol the area. The guards looked tired and bored. They had no idea that danger was closing in. Drakthar nodded to his team, and they sprang into action. With lightning speed, they overwhelmed the guards. The humans shouted in surprise, but it was too late. Drakthar and his team quickly tied them up and secured the area. "This is easier than I thought," Drakthar said with a smirk. "We'll have what we need in no time." Inside the outpost, the team found valuable technology. Computers, weapons, and data storage devices filled the rooms. They started gathering everything, loading it onto their ship. Drakthar felt proud. He believed this would be a successful mission, one that would make him richer than ever. However, unknown to Drakthar, the outpost was not as unguarded as it seemed. The humans had a hidden alert system. As soon as the first guard fell, a silent alarm sent a message to nearby military bases. The signal reached the command center in a matter of seconds. Leaders watched the situation unfold on their screens, realizing they were under attack. Back at the outpost, Drakthar and his team continued to collect items, laughing and boasting about their success. But as they loaded the last of the equipment, they heard a distant rumble. At first, they thought it was thunder, but then the ground shook beneath them. Drakthar's expression changed from triumph to confusion. "What is happening?" he asked, his confidence wavering. Suddenly, bright lights appeared in the sky. Drakthar looked up to see Earth's military ships arriving, their engines roaring as they descended. The aliens realized they had made a huge mistake. The humans were not as weak as they thought. Panic spread among Drakthar's team. They hurried to their ship, but it was too late. As the military ships landed, soldiers poured out, ready to fight. Drakthar's team was trapped. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were facing a force much larger and stronger than they had imagined. Drakthar's heart raced with fear as he shouted to his team, "Get to the ship! We need to leave now!" But chaos erupted around them. The alien mercenaries had come to take what was not theirs, and now they were about to face the consequences. The attack had awakened something fierce in humanity. They were not going to let anyone take their home without a fight. And for Drakthar, this would turn into a battle he would never forget. Back on Earth, the news of the attack spread quickly. People in cities and towns were shocked to hear that an alien mercenary had invaded their planet. The leaders of the world gathered in a large conference room, worried and serious. They knew they had to act fast to protect their home. General Roberts, a tall man with gray hair and a firm voice, stood at the front. "We cannot let this attack go unanswered," he said, looking at the other leaders. "If we show weakness now, we could face more attacks in the future." The room was silent as everyone listened carefully. Around the table, leaders from different countries nodded in agreement. They understood that this was not just about one outpost. It was about the safety of Earth itself. "We need to show them that humanity is strong," said Commander Lee, a fierce woman with a determined look in her eyes. "We have to send a clear message." As they talked, a young technician named Mia, who had been monitoring the situation, raised her hand. "There is a plan we prepared a long time ago," she said nervously. "It's called Operation Iron Shield. It involves waking up our hidden military force." The leaders looked at her in surprise. They had forgotten about Operation Iron Shield. It was a backup plan designed for emergencies, where 500,000 elite soldiers could be activated at a moment's notice. "This is our chance," General Roberts said, his eyes brightening. "Let's do it!" The leaders quickly made calls to military bases around the world. Soldiers were alerted and preparation began. All over the planet, people watched the news, feeling a mix of fear and determination. They knew the threat was real, but they also knew that together they could stand strong. As the sun set, military bases sprang to life. Soldiers trained for years gathered their gear and readied their weapons. Tanks rolled out, jets soared into the sky, and helicopters buzzed overhead. The air was thick with anticipation and courage. This was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for their home. Meanwhile, Drakthar and his team were still at the outpost, unaware of the storm that was brewing. As they struggled to escape, the first waves of Earth's forces began to mobilize. Soldiers loaded onto transports and moved toward the outpost, determined to reclaim what had been taken. Back at the command center, Mia watched the screens, her heart racing. "We have located the alien ship!" she shouted. "It's still at the outpost, but we need to hurry. If we don't act fast, they might escape." General Roberts nodded, his face serious. "Let's move!" The plan was simple yet effective. The first wave of soldiers would surround the outpost, while others would prepare to enter and secure the area. The military commanders worked together, coordinating every detail with precision. They were determined to show the aliens that Earth was not an easy target. As the troops approached the outpost, they saw the alien ship parked nearby, its sleek design glowing under the moonlight. Earth's soldiers moved quietly, using the element of surprise to their advantage. The tension in the air was electric, and everyone felt the weight of the moment. They were ready to fight. In the midst of their preparations, Mia stood with her fellow technicians, monitoring the situation. "We have eyes on the aliens," she said, pointing at the screens. They looked scared and confused. "We can do this!" The technicians cheered, feeling a surge of hope. Finally, the time came. Earth's forces launched their attacks, surrounding the outpost and cutting off any escape routes. The soldiers moved in, shouting commands and ready to fight. The aliens were caught off guard, scrambling to defend themselves as chaos erupted. Drakthar's face fell as he saw the soldiers approaching. "We have to fight back!" he yelled. But the humans were organized and fierce, pushing forward with determination. The battle was on, and Earth was ready to show Drakthar the strength of its people. As the first shots were fired, the sound echoed through the night. The air was filled with the cries of battle, and both sides prepared for the fight of their lives. Earth had awakened, and it was not going to let its home be taken without a fight. The battle at the outpost raged on as Earth's soldiers stormed forward. Drakthar and his team, still shocked by the sudden attack, struggled to regroup. The aliens had come to Earth thinking they would easily take what they wanted, but now they found themselves cornered and outmatched. "Get to the ship!" Drakthar shouted, his voice filled with urgency. His team scrambled, trying to grab their weapons and equipment. They were not trained for a fight against organized human forces. "We can't let them take us alive." One of his crew, a Varaxian named Korak, looked terrified. "What if we can't escape? They are everywhere." As Earth's soldiers advanced, they worked together like a well-oiled machine. Commander Lee led the charge, shouting orders to her troops. "Keep pushing forward! We need to secure the area." Soldiers moved in pairs, using cover and communication to their advantage. The humans fought with a fierce determination that surprised the aliens. Mia watched the battle unfold from the command center. "They are doing great," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "The aliens didn't expect us to fight back like this." General Roberts stood beside her, a proud smile on his face. "This is just the beginning. We need to hold our ground and keep the pressure on them." Drakthar's team finally reached their ship, but it was too late. Earth's soldiers surrounded them, cutting off their escape. "We need to take off now," Drakthar yelled, frantically pressing buttons on the control panel. But the ship's systems flashed warnings. The damage from the fighting made it impossible to launch. "Fight back!" Drakthar commanded, drawing his weapon. His team, now realizing their predicament, hesitated. They looked at each other, fear evident in their eyes. Korak spoke up. "Drakthar, we should surrender. There's no way we can win." But Drakthar was furious. "We are not surrendering. We are mercenaries, not cowards." The humans approached the ship cautiously, weapons raised. They could see the fear in the eyes of the aliens. Commander Lee motioned for her soldiers to hold their fire. "Listen up," she shouted. "You have two choices. Surrender now, or we will take you by force." Drakthar felt a surge of anger and pride. He was not going to back down. "We will fight!" he roared. But his team was not so sure. They had never faced an enemy like this before. Korak, trembling, finally dropped his weapon. "I can't do this anymore! I won't die for you, Drakthar!" Realizing his crew was losing faith, Drakthar felt a wave of panic. "No, we will fight together," he insisted, but it was clear that his team was no longer united. Earth's soldiers took this moment to push forward, ready to capture the mercenaries. Meanwhile, Mia and General Roberts watched as the standoff unfolded. "Should we give them a chance to surrender?" Mia asked. General Roberts nodded thoughtfully. "Let's see if they will cooperate. We don't want unnecessary casualties." "Drakthar!" Commander Lee called out. "This is your last chance. Surrender and we can negotiate your future. Fight, and you will face the full might of Earth's military." The tension hung heavy in the air as Drakthar looked around at his crew. They were scared, and he could see that. With his heart racing, Drakthar knew he had to make a decision. If he continued to fight, his team would be slaughtered. But surrendering meant losing everything he had worked for. The mercenary was torn between his pride and the safety of his crew. Finally, he raised his hands, showing he was unarmed. "We surrender!" he shouted, his voice shaky. Korak and the others followed suit, dropping their weapons to the ground. Earth's soldiers moved in cautiously, securing the area. Commander Lee stepped forward, her expression serious but understanding. "You made the right choice," she said. "We don't want to harm you if we don't have to. But know this, we will protect our planet and our people. Do not underestimate humanity again." Drakthar and his team were taken into custody, and as they were led away, the mercenary felt a mix of defeat and relief. He had made a mistake by underestimating Earth, and now he would face the consequences. As the dust settled, Mia cheered for her team's victory. General Roberts smiled, knowing that they had proven their strength. Earth had shown that it would not be bullied, and the battle had only just begun. After the surrender of Drakthar and his crew, Earth's soldiers took control of the alien outpost. The news of their victory spread quickly, boosting the spirits of people all over the planet. However, deep in the shadows, a greater threat was brewing. Drakthar's powerful allies had heard of his defeat and were determined to take revenge. As Drakthar sat in a holding cell, he felt a mix of anger and fear. He knew that his people would not let this humiliation go unpunished. "They will come for us," he muttered, pacing back and forth. Korak, his former teammate, sat quietly, contemplating their fate. "What can we do?" "We are trapped here," he replied. Meanwhile, General Roberts and Commander Lee were busy planning their next steps. They understood that Drakthar's defeat was just one part of a larger battle. "We need to prepare for the worst," Lee said, looking at the maps of the outpost and surrounding areas. His allies will not just sit back and do nothing. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the base. "What's happening?" Roberts shouted, rushing to the control center. Mia, who was monitoring the systems, looked up with wide eyes. "Sir, multiple alien ships are approaching fast. They are here for revenge!" The room went silent as everyone processed the information. The soldiers exchanged worried glances, knowing that a new fight was about to begin. "Get everyone ready," General Roberts ordered. "We need to defend our home!" Outside, the sky darkened as the alien ships descended, their engines roaring like thunder. They were larger and more advanced than Drakthar's ship. "This is going to be a tough battle," Lee said, gripping her weapon tightly. "But we can't let them take our outpost." As the alien ships landed, their troops poured out, ready for a fight. They were fierce and determined, clearly intent on avenging Drakthar's defeat. The Earth soldiers formed a line, preparing for the battle ahead. "Hold your positions!" Commander Lee shouted, her voice strong. The first shots rang out as the aliens opened fire. Bright beams of energy lit up the darkening sky, and the air filled with smoke and chaos. Earth soldiers returned fire, their weapons firing in precise bursts. "Stay focused! Aim for their weak points," Roberts commanded, pushing forward with his team. As the battle escalated, Drakthar watched from his cell. He felt helpless and frustrated. Suddenly, he had an idea. "If I can reach my ship, I can help them," he thought. "I might be able to turn the tide of this battle." He quickly whispered to Korak, who looked surprised. "Are you sure about this?" "We could get killed! We have to try," Drakthar insisted. With a plan forming in his mind, he began searching for a way out of the holding area. The sounds of battle roared outside, motivating him to act quickly. They sneaked past the guards, moving silently through the dark hallways of the base. Meanwhile, Commander Lee and General Roberts fought bravely alongside their soldiers. The aliens were relentless, pushing forward and trying to break through Earth's defenses. "We need to hold the line," Lee shouted, her voice echoing over the sounds of gunfire. "Don't let them through!" Just when it seemed the aliens might gain the upper hand, Drakthar and Korak reached the hangar where their ship was parked. "There it is!" Drakthar exclaimed, his heart racing. They quickly climbed aboard, and Drakthar began to power up the ship. "We have to join the fight," he said, determination shining in his eyes. As the ship's systems came online, Drakthar took control of the controls. Korak, still nervous, said, "Are you sure they will accept our help?" "They have to," Drakthar replied. "We might be the only chance they have." Back outside, the battle reached a fever pitch. Earth soldiers fought with everything they had, but the alien forces were numerous and powerful. Just when hope seemed lost, Drakthar's ship soared into the sky, firing its weapons at the aliens from above. "Look! It's the alien ship!" one soldier shouted, astonished. The sudden appearance of Drakthar's ship changed the tide of the battle. The aliens were caught off guard, and Earth's soldiers seized the opportunity. "Push forward! We can win this!" Commander Lee yelled, leading her troops into the fray. Drakthar expertly maneuvered the ship, targeting key positions within the alien forces. Korak watched in awe as the ship unleashed fire upon their enemies. "We can do this!" Korak cheered, feeling a newfound sense of hope. With Drakthar's help, Earth's forces began to push back against the aliens. The battle raged on, but now the tide was turning in favor of humanity. The combined strength of Earth and its unexpected ally was proving to be a formidable force. In that moment, Drakthar realized that perhaps he had underestimated humans after all. They were fierce warriors, and together they stood a chance against anyone who threatened their home. The final battle raged on, and the atmosphere was charged with excitement and fear. Drakthar piloted his ship with skill, firing at the alien forces below. His heart raced as he watched Earth's soldiers gain ground. Together, they were proving that humanity was not to be underestimated. "Look out! They're flanking us!" a soldier shouted, pointing to a group of aliens trying to surround their position. Commander Lee quickly assessed the situation. "We need to hold this line. Everyone focus on the left flank." Her voice was steady, rallying her troops. They moved as one, firing their weapons with precision. Drakthar aimed his ship at the group of aliens, unleashing a barrage of energy blasts. "Take that!" he yelled, feeling a rush of adrenaline. The aliens scattered, and the Earth soldiers took advantage of the moment. "We're pushing them back!" Korak cheered, exhilarated by the unexpected teamwork. As the battle progressed, the tide began to shift in favor of Earth. The aliens, once so confident, started to retreat. The realization that they were losing sparked panic among their ranks. "Fall back! We can't win this!" an alien commander shouted, trying to regain control. With the enemy in disarray, Commander Lee seized the moment. "Now is our chance. Push forward!" she ordered. The soldiers, filled with determination, charged ahead, chasing the fleeing aliens. Drakthar's ship swooped low, providing cover fire and ensuring that the enemy did not regroup. In the chaos, Drakthar felt a sense of belonging. For the first time, he was fighting for a cause greater than himself. He looked down at the Earth soldiers fighting alongside them and felt a bond forming. "We are all in this together," he thought. Suddenly, the alien forces began to crumble. One by one, they surrendered or fled. The victory seemed almost within reach. "We did it!" Korak shouted, his voice full of hope. Drakthar couldn't help but smile. "Yes, we did," he replied, feeling a swell of pride. As the last of the aliens retreated into space, cheers erupted from the Earth soldiers. They had fought bravely and won against the odds. Commander Lee stood tall, raising her weapon in victory. "We have defended our home. Let this be a lesson to anyone who dares to challenge us." The soldiers roared in agreement, their spirits high. Mia rushed to join the celebration, her face beaming with joy. "We did it! We showed them what humans can do!" she exclaimed. General Roberts joined them, smiling proudly at the brave men and women who had fought for their planet. But as the excitement filled the air, Drakthar felt a mix of emotions. He had been part of a battle that changed everything. What happens now, he wondered. He had once been an enemy, but now he was part of this new world. Would the humans trust him after all that had happened? Later, as the soldiers regrouped, Commander Lee approached Drakthar and Korak. "Thank you for your help," she said sincerely. "You fought well today." Drakthar nodded, still feeling a bit unsure. "I only did what I thought was right," he replied. "We will need to discuss what happens next," Commander Lee continued. "You have skills that could be valuable to us. We want to help you, but trust must be rebuilt." Drakthar looked at Korak, who seemed equally uncertain. "We understand," he said. "We will work to earn your trust." As the sun set over the battlefield, the Earth soldiers began to celebrate their victory. The sounds of laughter and cheers filled the air, but for Drakthar and Korak, the real work was just beginning. They knew they had a long road ahead to prove themselves. In the days that followed, the humans and the aliens began to talk. They shared stories and learned from each other. Drakthar found himself enjoying the company of the humans. They were tough and resilient, qualities he admired. Slowly, he began to feel a sense of hope for the future. The victory had changed everything. Humans had shown their strength, and Drakthar realized that he had changed too. He was no longer just a mercenary. He had become part of a new alliance. Together they would stand against any threats that dared to approach their world. As Drakthar looked at the stars, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had fought alongside humans and found respect among them. No longer just a mercenary, he was now a protector of Earth. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but with new friends by his side, he was ready to face whatever came next.